Some places in the world are like a beautiful stranger at a wild party. They pull you in with charm, promise you the time of your life, and might just pick your pocket while you're not looking. These are the countries that don't just give you vacation memories, they give you stories, the kind you tell your friends with a grin. And maybe leave out a few details so your mom doesn't panic. We're talking paradise with a side of chaos. Beach sunsets that turn into street parties, and street parties that turn into, where the heck did my wallet go? Epic mountains, legendary festivals, world-class food, all served with a sprinkle of danger to keep your heart racing. This isn't your sip a latte and visit a museum travel guide. This is about countries that make you feel alive. And if you've got the courage, or just a questionable sense of self-preservation, then buckle up. Because by the end of this video, you might just be looking up flights to the most thrilling, nerve-wracking, and ridiculously fun destinations on the planet. Now, not every thrill seeker wants to cannonball into chaos. Some like to dip a toe first, maybe while sipping a caipirinha, which is why our adventure kicks off in a place that can be blissfully chill 1 minute and heart-racingly intense the next. Brazil. This country doesn't just know how to throw a party, it's the undisputed heavyweight champion of them. Carnival in Rio isn't just an event, it's a sensory overload. Imagine millions of people in the streets, costumed dancers twirling like human fireworks, music so loud you feel it in your bones, and strangers pulling you into samba circles like you've known them for years. By sunrise, you might have a feathered headdress, glitter on your eyebrows, and absolutely no idea how you got either. Beyond the parties, Brazil's nature game is unreal. One day you're hiking to the thundering Iguazu Falls, a natural wonder so massive it makes you feel like an ant. The next, you're deep in the Amazon, kayaking under cathedral-like trees while exotic birds call from above. Just be aware the Amazon is also home to jaguars, anacondas, piranhas, and mosquitoes the size of helicopters. And while the beaches are straight-up paradise, think white sand, turquoise water, and endless volleyball games. The cities can test your street smarts. Petty theft is common in tourist-heavy areas, especially if you're flashing your phone or rocking jewelry like it's a runway. But here's the thing. Play it smart, stay alert, and Brazil will give you stories you'll tell for the rest of your life. This is the kind of place that can serve you both the smoothest coconut water on Copacabana and a zip-line ride over the rainforest that leaves your heart in your throat. Of course, once you've danced all night in Rio and zipped over the Amazon. You might think you've checked the adventure box, but there's a whole other level of wild waiting further south. In a land where nature plays no games, South Africa. One day, you're sipping wine in the Cape Winelands with a mountain view so perfect it feels photoshopped. And the next, you're staring into the amber eyes of a lion on safari. Kruger National Park isn't just a zoo without fences. It's the real deal. Here, you're the guest, and the wildlife has the right of way. Want to see elephants, rhinos, and cheetahs in their natural habitat? You can. Just remember, they're not here for Instagram, and they don't care about your travel vlog. Cape Town might just be one of the most beautiful cities in the world, with Table Mountain towering above, beaches on either side, and a nightlife scene that refuses to sleep. But wander without caution, and you could find yourself in neighborhoods where it's best to keep moving, and preferably without anything shiny dangling from your neck. For thrill junkies, this adrenaline-soaked playground offers the world's highest commercial bungee jump, great white shark cage diving, and legendary surf breaks, which, by the way, also double as great white shark territory. South Africa serves up adrenaline raw, equal parts breathtaking and heart-pounding. After facing lions on safari and surfing where great whites roam, you might think you've earned a break. But the next stop swaps the raw wilderness for something just as unpredictable. A place where neon lights, tropical islands, and chaotic streets all collide in one non-stop sensory overload. Thailand. Picture this, one moment you're drifting in a long-tail boat through emerald green waters, towering limestone cliffs on either side. The next, you're swept into the madness of Bangkok's night markets. Here, the air is thick with the smell of sizzling street food, the sound of motorbike engines, and a constant hum of people moving like a living river. You'll eat pad thai for $1, sip something you can't pronounce from a street vendor, and still have room for mango sticky rice before hopping on the back of a tuk-tuk that feels one sharp turn away from flipping. Then there's the islands. Koh Phi Phi, Koh Samui, Phuket, sun-drenched paradises by day, full-blown dance floors by night, the legendary full moon party. Imagine thousands of people, barefoot on the sand, dancing until sunrise under blacklights and fire shows. Just don't forget where your hotel is, or your shoes. But beneath all that fun, Thailand has its share of risks. Traffic here is a real-life video game, and motorbike accidents are one of the most common tourist injuries. Scams can catch you if you're too trusting. And during monsoon season, even the most inviting beach can turn dangerous in seconds. Still, Thailand's energy is magnetic. It pulls you in, spins you around, and dares you to keep up. After the tropical chaos of Thailand, you might crave something with just as much energy, but an entirely different flavor. Something spicier, louder, and infused with history. Welcome to Mexico. A land where every day feels like a festival, and every night could turn into a story you'll be telling for years. Start in Mexico City, where ancient Aztec ruins sit right next to modern skyscrapers and bustling markets. Street vendors call out, tempting you with tacos al pastor fresh off the spit, while mariachi bands turn an ordinary plaza into an impromptu party. Then there's the coast, Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum. By day, you're floating in turquoise waters or exploring hidden sea notes so crystal clear you can see every ripple. By night, you're dancing under palm trees, the bass thumping while the waves crash in the background. The vibe is electric, the drinks are strong, and sleep is optional. But Mexico isn't all sunshine and salsa. Some regions are controlled by cartels, and wandering into the wrong neighborhood can go from cool adventure to bad idea. Real quick. Petty theft can be a problem in crowded tourist zones, and driving in rural areas at night, let's just say it's not on the recommended list. Still, the mix of ancient culture, stunning landscapes, and non-stop nightlife makes Mexico impossible to resist. It's a country that wraps you in warmth, feeds you until you can't move, then dares you to step out of your comfort zone, sometimes a little too far. If Mexico is a tequila shot of culture and chaos, the Philippines is more like a piña colada with a chili pepper floating in it. Sweet, smooth, and refreshing. But with a kick you don't see coming. With over 7,000 islands, this Southeast Asian gem is a paradise buffet. One morning you're diving in Palawan, drifting through underwater coral gardens that look like they belong in a sci-fi movie. Next, you're hopping between islands in Cebu, each one somehow prettier than the last, each with sand so white it practically glows. And if you're into nightlife, Manila's bar scene can go toe-to-toe with any global party city, but paradise has its fine print. The Philippines sits right in the path of some of the strongest typhoons on Earth. Storms that can flip a beach day into an evacuation plan in hours. Even in the safest areas, the traffic in Manila is legendary, and not in a good way. Add in the occasional pickpocket or overcharging taxi, and you'll quickly learn the art of street smarts. Still, the warmth of the Filipino people is unmatched. Strangers will treat you like family. Street food vendors will insist you try just one more bite, and you'll leave every conversation with a smile, and possibly a new Facebook friend. The Philippines is proof that beauty and danger can exist in the same frame. It'll hand you postcard-perfect sunsets, then remind you that Mother Nature and human unpredictability both have their own ideas for your trip. Kenya doesn't just invite you to see nature, it throws you straight into its most dramatic moments. This is the land where the horizon stretches forever. The sunsets look painted by a master, and every sound in the tall grass could be something with teeth. The Masai Mara offers one of the greatest shows on Earth, the Great Migration. Picture thousands of wildebeest and zebras thundering across the savannah, while lions crouch low, crocodiles wade in the rivers, and you sit in your safari vehicle, wondering if you should be rooting for the predator or the prey. And it's not all about safaris. You can trek up Mount Kenya's rugged slopes, soak in the Swahili coast's turquoise waters, or explore Nairobi's blend of street markets, contemporary art, and an ever-growing foodie scene. The cultural depth here is immense, from Maasai traditions to urban creativity. Of course, adventure here comes with its own warnings. Certain neighborhoods in Nairobi require extra caution, and out in the wild there are no fences between you and the animals. That elephant crossing the road? It's not stopping for you. That lion lounging in the shade? It's not there for your photo op, but for those willing to respect the land and its residents, both human and animal. Kenya offers experiences you'll talk about for the rest of your life. It's as raw as travel gets, and the thrill is just as real. Peru is the kind of destination that feels like stepping into an epic adventure film. One day, you're climbing ancient stone steps toward the cloud-wrapped ruins of Machu Picchu. The next, you're sailing across the world's highest navigable lake, wondering if the thin air is making the colors pop, or if you're just mildly hallucinating from the altitude. The country is a playground for explorers. The Andes stretch like a jagged spine across its length, offering trekking routes that will test your legs and reward you with views you'll never stop bragging about. Down in the Amazon basin, the rainforest hums with life, parrots, monkeys, and insects with colors that look photoshopped. Then there's Lima, where colonial architecture meets a booming food scene that regularly lands Peru at the top of global culinary rankings. But here's the catch: Peru isn't all smooth sailing. Altitude sickness is a real threat. Even the fittest travelers can get hit with headaches, dizziness, and nausea when venturing into the highlands. Some urban areas have their share of pickpockets, especially in crowded markets or bus terminals. And in the Amazon, you're not just battling the heat, you're also dealing with mosquitoes that consider repellent a light appetizer. Still, the rewards far outweigh the risks. Peru offers a mix of history, culture, and adrenaline that's hard to match. It's a place where you can stand on a mountaintop, breathless in every sense, and feel like you've touched something timeless. Landing in India is like stepping onto a stage mid-performance. The lights are bright, the crowd is loud, and you're instantly part of the show whether you're ready or not. The streets hum with rickshaw horns, the scent of fresh spices drifts through the air, and every corner is a mix of the ancient and the chaotic. In one journey, you could find yourself throwing colors during Holi, tracing the marble curves of the Taj Mahal, trekking into the Himalayas, or kicking back on a Goan beach with a coconut in hand. The food alone can pull you across the country: buttered chicken in Delhi, fiery vindaloo in Goa, delicate dosas in the south. Every bite is a story. But traveling here means embracing the unpredictable. The traffic feels like a living organism with its own set of rules, or no rules at all. Food safety can be a gamble, and some days the heat alone can drain you faster than a full day's trek. In big cities, pickpocketing is a reality in crowded spaces, and navigating train stations is a workout in patience and agility. For all its chaos, India rewards those who lean in. You'll leave with moments burned into your memory: a stranger offering you chai on a long train ride, a temple that silences the noise around you, a street so alive it feels like it's breathing. It's the kind of place that stays under your skin long after you've left, not just because of what you saw, but because of how it made you feel: exhilarated, overwhelmed, and somehow at home in the middle of it all. On the other side of the globe, Colombia greets you with a rhythm that's impossible to ignore. It's in the sway of salsa dancers in Cali, the vibrant murals splashed across Bogota's walls, and the warm, knowing smiles of people who seem genuinely glad you showed up. Medellin, once infamous for all the wrong reasons, now pulses with innovation. Cable cars glide over sprawling neighborhoods, connecting the hills to the heart of the city. And at night, the streets come alive with music that spills from open doors. Cartagena, with its cobblestone streets and rainbow-colored colonial houses, feels like stepping into a painting, one you can wander through with an arepa in hand. Colombia's landscapes are as diverse as its cities. You can sip world-class coffee in the misty hills of the Coffee Triangle, trek through jungles to reach the Lost City, or dive into turquoise waters off San Andres. There's a sense here that adventure is never far away, and that it might find you before you find it. But Colombia's charm still comes with cautions. While safety has improved dramatically, certain rural areas remain risky due to armed groups, and even in cities, petty theft can catch the distracted traveler. Trusting your gut, sticking to well-traveled routes, and getting local advice goes a long way. Those who come ready to engage, to learn a few words of Spanish, to dance even if they have 2 left feet, to share a meal with strangers, often find themselves leaving with friendships as colorful as the country itself. From the tropical coast to the highland cities, Colombia is proof that a place can reinvent itself without losing its soul. And far out in the Pacific, there's a nation of islands where paradise and peril share the same shoreline. Indonesia feels less like one country and more like an entire collection of worlds scattered across the sea. With over 17,000 islands, it offers enough variety to keep even the most restless traveler busy for years. Beaches, volcanoes, jungles, and cities, all layered with a mix of cultures, flavors, and traditions. Bali might be the star name here, with its emerald rice terraces, cliffside temples, and waves that draw surfers from around the globe. But beyond Bali, the adventure deepens. Komodo Island is home to the infamous Komodo dragons, prehistoric-looking lizards that can run faster than you think and have a bite you absolutely don't want to test. Java boasts the surreal landscapes of Mount Bromo and the massive temple complex of Borobudur, where sunrise feels like a sacred event. The fun in Indonesia is endless. Diving in Raja Ampat, hiking volcanoes, exploring night markets filled with sizzling satay, or just hopping from island to island with no fixed plan. It's the kind of place where one wrong turn could lead to the best meal of your life, or the kind of shortcut that takes 4 hours by boat. But with all that beauty comes risk. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are part of life here, and tsunamis are a real threat in some coastal regions. Traffic in major cities like Jakarta can be chaotic enough to make you question whether you'll ever make it to your destination. And in remote areas, medical help isn't always close at hand. Still, the reward is immense. Indonesia invites you to slow down, explore deeply, and accept that the unexpected is part of the experience. Here, paradise and unpredictability share the same horizon, and that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. And there you have it, 10 destinations that prove travel isn't just about ticking boxes on a map. It's about chasing the moments that make your pulse race, your eyes widen, and your stories a little more dramatic than you planned. Danger and fun don't cancel each other out. They dance together, turning the world into one big, unpredictable playground. Whether it's street food in a crowded night market, a sunrise from the top of a mountain, or locking eyes with a wild animal. These are the moments that remind you you're alive. Of course, the real magic isn't in just watching from a screen. It's in getting out there, making your own memories, and maybe a few mistakes along the way. Just, pack a little common sense along with your sunscreen. If you enjoyed this ride around the globe, there's plenty more where that came from. Hit that like button so I know you want more adventures. Subscribe so you don't miss the next trip, and tap the bell so you're the first to know when we take off again. Now tell me in the comments, which of these countries would you actually dare to visit? And which one is firmly in the "I'll admire it from my couch" category? I'll be reading.